Man, let's do some dumb football questions here, boys. You know what? I'm going to ask the first dumb football question.
Do it.
What was it like playing for Mike Singletary, Alex?
Fucking
Tell us,
amazing.
tell us a story.
True story. First day I walk in. First fucking day I walk in. Chris Furster was the O-line coach at the time. He loved me, and he's a great guy, and I love him to death. I walk in, and you have to walk through the security desk, and you just go through this random door, and it's this hallway that leads right into like somewhat of the weight room, but then to the left is all the rooms that you meet in, and to the right is the locker room. So I open the door. I'm a rookie, 6'8", 340 pounds. I open the door, and as I see this guy walking down the hallway like this way, he stops and he comes back. And he looks at me, and it's Singletary, and he goes, "You, come here." And I go, "Oh, shit." Like, you know how we all joke, like, I just got here, I didn't do anything? I was in the height of my, like, yo, I swear to God, I didn't do anything, right? Like, I had just gotten out of jail. He pulls me into this room, and he sits me down, and he is looking at me 6 inches away, and he's just staring at me. And he's like, "Listen, I don't like you. I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to break you like a wild horse. You understand me, boy?" And I remember sitting there going, I am so fucked. I did it. I pissed off the wrong person this time. And I go, "I'm with that, coach. Let's do it." And he goes, "No, I don't think you are, son. I don't think you understand what's going to happen. Because I'm going to mess you up pretty good." And for the next 2 years, I got my shit pushed in so fucking hard. I'm not kidding you. Like, there were days where I would go out and I had to do all the offensive scout team, and I had to go do all the defensive scout team. And I had to do that every day. Every single day I was on punishment. And I remember every day he'd come up to me and he'd go, "You're just too fat. You got to lose weight." And I'd be like, "All right, I will." Like, that's how the league was. I didn't fucking look back and go, "Oh, God, he called me fat." I was like, "He's right. I am fat. I will lose that fucking weight. I'll get there." And I remember towards the end of my rookie year, he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna activate you." I was like, "Sweet, let's go. Next week, this is the week we're gonna activate you. Next week, we're gonna activate you this week. Next week, this is it. You're going up." And I remember thinking, like, this dude's just fucking with me. Like, every single week, he's just fucking. Every single day, I had to do everything, dude. It was terrible, and it was rough. And honestly, it was a great learning lesson. Like, number one, a lot of dudes came before me that put in a lot more work than I ever did. So it's my turn to put that work in. And two, like, when you're sitting around a Hall of Famer like that, a guy who played back in the fucking badass era of, like, we ran a real 6'2" all the time, like, you're not going to say no to that guy, right? As much as you're like, this is fucking stupid. Like, I'm not kidding you. Every day we went out and did bull in the ring every single day. It ended up costing our center's neck. I'm not even kidding you. People were like, "Why are we doing that?" We did Oklahoma drill every day. Like, he was like, I'm gonna find out who's here to play. And we were like, "Coach, we're all here to play. Like, we just don't want to break our necks.
Like, we're good. We're good, coach.
We don't want to run 5 yards at each other and just run into each other. Like, that sounds." And he'd be like, "We're gonna find out who's tough. We're gonna do it." And it was a lot.
What was the spat with him and was it Vernon Davis?
Yeah, Vernon was, they were both kind of characters at the time, and Vernon was on his one. I wasn't there that year. That was the year before I got there, but I had heard several times about it. And everybody was basically like, Vernon was just mouthing off, and Singletary don't put up with that shit. I mean, Mike never swore. He always wore his cross. He was a very godly man, but he was extremely into discipline. I mean, discipline. Like, everything was disciplined. But the problem was, like, on offense, we were very vanilla. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one game he was like, "We're gonna go out there, we're gonna run power the first 4 plays," and everyone was like, "I don't know if that's very smart." Sure as shit, we did. Like, the first 3 plays, we ran power
for 3 hours.
He's like, "We're gonna let him know." Whereas, like, Harbaugh came in and was like, "Yeah, sure, power can be a staple, and we can lean on that, but let's trick him a little bit. Let's mess with him, and then we'll punch him in the face. Let's spread him way out, and then we punch him in the face, or then we bring him all in, and then we run around him." Like, they were very just intuitive, and like, this is where we need to attack. Whereas with Singletary, it was like, we're just going to line up and do what we're doing. And we just weren't equipped for that at the time.
Edward Joseph chimes in here. By the way, you can always submit your dumb football questions in the YouTube comment section, O-Line Committee YouTube channel. Click that like button, the subscribe button. Edward Joseph says, playing in the trenches in NFL games looks brutal. How does it compare to full padded training camp practices? People are trying to make the team, but is there an unwritten rule to tone it down when you're trying to make the team in training camp to keep teammates healthy? What's it like?
Brother-in-law. We call that brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
You're not allowed a brother-in-law ever. And that means brother-in-law means you're taking care of your friend. Like, hey, we're just going to chill on this rep. The minute you do that, someone's calling your ass out. I will say this. There have been some one-on-one situations in any practice on certain teams that were harder than any game I've ever played in. And a lot of it was because the defense knew what we were doing. We didn't so much know what they were doing. And you look over and you're playing Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Alden Smith, Justin Smith. Like there are times where you're like, this is going to suck more than any game I could walk into. But that was the whole culture, right? And I keep telling this to my players now. The one thing that makes a team great is when everybody on the team continues to push the bar. And that's what good coaches do. They sit there and they go, okay, today we're going to do some best on best because I want to see what the fuck everybody's about. Instantly, everyone's like, yeah, here we go. This is what we've been living for. It's not like every fucking day, oh, we're going at it every day because it's like, I have to rest eventually. Now, I will say, when we went through Harbaugh's camps, he would split the offense over here and the defense over here. And so he'd be like, we can do double the work in the same amount of time. And you'd be like, that's not going to be good for anybody. And you'd go run 150 plays in one day. And then he would chart them all up. And at the end of the camp, he'd be like, we ran 17,000 plays this year. And everybody else only ran 1,700. He'd be like, see how much farther ahead we are? In those processes, there's a tiny bit of brother-in-law because you're quick to just like, hey, I got to get back to the huddle. I got to go. Like, coach needs me to do shit. But on the reg, there is never a time where you're like, hey, I'm going to chill, you chill. Like, unless you're like, there's been a few times in preseason games where guys come up to you and they're like, hey, I'm not trying to get hurt. This is year 10 for me. I'm going to give you a lot of action. I swear to God, you fucking fall on me, I'm going to find you. And you're like, got it. Understood. I will be up the whole game, but I'm going to give it to you. But I will not cut you. And you'd be like, fair. That was about as far as it went. The preseason, when people were like, just don't cut me, you'd be like, cool. Got it. I'm not going to cut you now. But in the regular season, I'm going to take your fucking ACL from you. That is all mine. You got it.
I think the other piece of it, too, is it's very dependent on where you're at in the roster, right? The ones versus the ones, you're not pushing dudes over piles. Like,
No.
if you have a chance to bury someone, like, you just kind of let them know, but you keep them up, right? Like, if you start working towards the twos and especially the threes, we used to call the threes the jungle, right? If you're on the threes, dude, there's no rules.
No limits.
There's no limits. There's
Nothing.
like, oh, I can cake this dude. Oh, I'm taking him down, right? I'm planting him in the dirt. Like, I'm doing everything I can. Like, if, oh, there's a slab of ribs right there, I know that's RDN, but I'm going to go break his fucking ribs, right? Like, all of that in practice is totally different than when you watch the ones. Like, the ones go, it's clean, it's crisp. Everyone's doing the threes is just like longest yard style, right? Like, cut that. Like, just trying to just take anyone out. Because, yeah, when you're trying to fight to make the team, like, there's no, like, why would I take care of this guy if he might stay on the team and I'm not? Like, and vice versa. That guy's not going to take care of me. So, like, it's literal game tempo when you're a three, especially like your first, second year in camp. You're just, it's all out every play. Like, you're trying to bury dudes, you're trying to clean people up. Guys are bull rushing right through your teeth, trying to plant you into the quarterback, like all that stuff.
Training camp
Guys
is
with
so fun.
shivs.
Oh, it's so fun. Training camp practices are so fun because everybody's just in a bad mood. And it's like Jay said, the first team, like they know the tempo, no one's gonna kill each other. And after that, it's the wild, wild west. Like, dude, you like you think I'm kidding. You see twos and threes go out there, you're like, hey, give me a Gatorade. This is gonna be great. Watch this. These guys are gonna fucking kill each other. Like, dude, it's so true. Like the ones we go hard as fuck, you get close to the quarterback, dudes are like, yo, that's a sack, bitch. Or like Jay said, the minute you're about to dump somebody, you're like, ooh, I could have, but I didn't. The minute you get to the twos, they're like, didn't what? I'm fucking killing you. Like, dude, scout teams get it so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Nobody gets it worse than the scout team offense. Nobody gets it worse. Because if you fuck up the play or throw it to the wrong guy or block it like any other logical offense,
They're not going to do that on Sunday.
They're not going to do that. You're like, yeah, they're not going to slide to the nickel coming off the edge.
That was my
sure?
favorite. My favorite thing to do in Buffalo was to like totally screw with McDermott because I was in year 6, right? So I was in year 5 or 6, and I would play scout team center, and they'd put the card up, and they'd be like, "All right, here's the protection. Here's where we're sliding." I was like, "But they're coming from that side." Like, yeah, but they slide away. They always slide away. I'm like, okay, no, they don't. All right, ready, break. And so then I'd get up there and be like, that new mic over here. And like I'd slide the line into the blitz and we'd pick it up perfectly and the quarterback would deliver a strike and the D coordinator would just lose his shit, right?
What are we doing?
Leslie Frazier, can't read a card. What are we doing? And McDermott used to come up to me and just be like, I like it. Keep doing it. I was like, oh, I got the green light from the head man. It's
I didn't know you got the green light.
Dude, I got the green light from the head man. Oh my gosh, it was on. From there on, I would just look at the card and be like, all right, 3x1. I wouldn't even look at what they said. I'd be like, I'll call this. Like, I'll put us, and then I'd look at Barkley too. I'd be like, hey Matt, let's do this. Like, let's figure this out together. And Barkley would come in there, and we just, dude, it was so much fun because Milano, Edmonds, all those dudes used to get so pissed.
They get so mad.
They get so pissed.
If they're
Especially
told to blitz.
Dude, we used to start. We called it Touchdown Wednesdays. Like, we'd be like, Touchdown Wednesdays, because that's when they'd install their blitzes, and we just, dude, I loved running scout
Carve
team.
them
I
up.
had so much fun.
Dude, that's the worst when they blitz and they don't get to the quarterback. They're like, Coach, you said I was gonna get there. What the fuck? And they're like, I swear to God, scout teams are sometimes funny because, like Jay said, you'll see 7 guys coming from the left, and they'll be like, "We want you to go to the right," and you're like,
2 minutes.
It's like,
go
that's
to the
not
right.
happening enough.
You're like, go to the right. The safety's clearly topped. He's on the edge. We're gonna go to the left. Not one fucking O-line is gonna let that guy go. They do. They do it.
They're gonna let a free runner. Swear.
Gonna lie to you.
They're gonna let that free runner come right through, and they're like, no, they're not.
I've watched the games. They don't ever. I'm just telling you, we're all the same. We see a threat, we're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna go out there. Why? Because I don't want that guy to hit you. I'm gonna take him for you. They'd be like, they run only Mike protections. Be like, dude, Mike protections are for like 3rd and 15. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, no. They're gonna let this saw just go. That's it. You're like,
they're just gonna let it happen. I'm like,
I swear, defensive coaches think we're so stupid. Here's the problem: you let something like that happen, and then all of a sudden, the O-line coach just happens to peek over and see you slide the wrong way, and he'll come up to you and go, "The fuck is this? Dude, when would we slide this?"
That was exactly what would happen. The O-line coach would be like, "What are we doing over here?
What are we doing?"
I'm like, I was reading the card. He's like, you know better. I'm like, I don't.
See,
sure, all right, I'll pick it up.
You get caught in worlds, and an O-line coach, and he'll pull us aside and be like, "Hey, just question. 2 jet. We go fucking right on 2 jet." He'd be like, "Coach, the card told. I don't give a fuck what card. No moron is sliding that way." And you're like, "They told me to, though. Like, I'm okay." And then you start going against them, and then the D coaches are like, "What are you fucking blind? You can't read? It says loco." And then they want you to use the exact like vernacular, and you're like, you get up there and you're big lion. You're like, "It's a fucking loco. They need to hear loco." Yeah, because we don't change our calls the minute I know you know. Like, dude, you all think we're fucking stupid, but we're not.
I had them show me one time. They're like, listen, look, watch this. They're going to cut this guy free. And it was just a total ME by the left guard.
Total ME.
Like the ME, like literally like the left guard set right and the center set left. And they like hit each other on the nose guard. And the Mike came sprinting through the B gap. And he's like, see, I told you they're not going to pick this up. I was like,
show it to me again.
I want to see him do it twice. Right? Like,
show me fuck it up twice.
He messed it up. Like, that's a mental error by that guy. He was supposed to be on the mic. They're like, no, he was sliding away. I'm like, oh, you guys, like, Alex is right. They think we're all idiots. They're like, they're just dumb. They missed this one time, so we're going to test them on it again. I was like, and then I picked it up and we threw it for a 20-yard bomb. I don't know what you want from me.
We have Barkley, by the way, as our quarterback. All due respect to a
there are
college
some
legend.
times that some guys have torched a number 1 defense that you look at that defense and go, I don't know if you guys are number 1 anymore. Like, y'all are falling the fuck asleep today. And that's what's so fun is like when you can go out and watch a defense on Sunday fucking rip through people, but then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're your bitch. You're like, oh, I know all your weaknesses. I know who's going to be peeking in the backfield. Like, it's so fun to know. And then you start fucking with people, and then you start fucking with the coaches. Oh, my God. I love fucking with defensive guys. I almost hate them a little bit.
Amazing dudes. Dumb football questions. Keep sending them in. YouTube comment section. We're gonna carve out.
We gotta go. Booney was late. I know.
We're gonna carve out more time for like current event dumb football questions this season too. So if you've got stuff that's like pertaining to the the week 2 that you saw on Sunday, send those in as we get into September here. We got to run because we're gonna break down Caleb Williams' film and put that on the YouTube channel this week too. Get your thoughts on some crazy scrambling here. This is the O-line committee. Alex needs some more painkillers. Jay's got to find that bell. Talk to your kids, Jay. Find the bell.
I got to go wipe asses.